Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to this video on alter communication. And today I'm going to be speaking to you all on the roles and function of your instrument, which is the keyboard. So here we go. All right, so as a keyboardist, you have three main functions. Number one is your responsibility to provide harmonies to any given melody. So chord progressions, things like that. Just always think and keep in mind that one of your main roles is to house a melody inside of a specific harmonic progression. The second thing we do as keyboardists on stage is we provide textures to songs, the songs that we play. So this is very important because we achieve this through things such as pads, synths, and we keep the song from sounding kind of monotonous and sounding kind of boring through the use of these type of dynamics. So textures and things that I'll talk about in a little bit, they give a lot of movement to the songs and they bring the song to life. And lastly, we run tracks through Ableton Live. So this is very important because it helps provide and fill in with instruments that we may not have live on stage, but we do run them through Ableton. So going back to my first point, harmonic progression. So the keyboard is an amazing instrument that allows you to play melodies, which means you can put a series of individual notes together sequentially and you can create a melody, but you can also play harmonic progressions, which means that you can play more than one note at the same time. This is awesome because this is going to allow you to kind of create a house for this melody that is being sung either by a worship leader or played by a guitarist or a violin or any other melodic kind of instrument on the altar. And it's great because the piano allows, or the keys allow you to play even many different harmonic progressions for a single melody. So for this, you have to understand a few things. Number one, you need to understand the style of music that you're playing. That will determine a lot the harmonic or the chords that you will play. Number two, also understanding chords and how to read them. And lastly, also understanding inversions. Inversions will bring life to all the songs that you play rather than just playing songs in one position, or rather than just playing all the chords in first position. You can know how to tie them together. You can make transitions smoother by knowing second position, third position, and just being able to use inversions in general. So now let's talk a little bit about textures. Textures give life to a song. It keeps you from just being a static keyboard player, from just playing static pads, and it really brings a lot of movement to the song and to the moment. So you want to do this through playing, blending different pads together. You don't just want to have a static pad playing. Some pads even provide, depending on how you manipulate it and how you tweak it, it can arpeggiate to a certain degree, it can grow, the way it decays, and also through synths. Synths bring a lot of movement depending on the wavelength of the synth that you're playing. And even beyond that, you can use things like arpeggiators, you can use things like reverb, delay, chord triggers. All these different effects will allow you to create textures in a song and bring movement to any song that you play. And lastly, tracks. The reason we run tracks on stage is because we may not always have all the instruments that we require to play a song. So it's a great support to be able to have percussion, to be able to have extra guitars, to be able to have even some extra background vocals or a choir if the stems provide for it. So we usually buy our stems from multitracks.com, or sometimes we build them ourselves, our team. We add some guitars to a song. We will add maybe some synths, some arpeggiators, maybe even some vocals. Or there's even songs that we play using Ableton Live where we only run click and cues. And that is important because that will help us keep order throughout the song. And that way the MD, the music director, doesn't need to memorize maybe a really long song by memory, but rather the cues inside of Ableton Live can help kind of guide us through the song. To run Ableton, we use an audio interface, which we use specifically 4 outputs for that. So we run a stereo of all the tracks, meaning just a stereo of all the guitars, percussion, keys, anything that we may be running through Ableton. And then we have 2 separate mono tracks. One is for click and the other one is for cues. And lastly, I just want to give you a word of advice. Get to know your instrument. Really take lessons if you need to, but also get to know what your instrument can do. as far as, what does it mean to play in the higher octaves? What type of feeling does that give me? If you're able to buy your own gear, buy your own laptop, buy all the things that I've been talking about here, and I'm going to talk about in other videos. If you're able to kind of build your own setup, it's great to tune your ear into different sounds, into more sounds, getting used to reverbs, delays, all those type of things. So the more you know your instrument, the better of a handle you're going to have on the things that you can do.